If the only version of your logo is a PNG, then you might not actually have your logo. You just have a picture of your logo. And the moment you try to enlarge it for a banner, a sign, a packaging, or even a billboard, it starts to blur, get pixelated, crack, and fall apart. Because a logo should be built as a vector. It needs to have shapes, points, and vectors that stay sharp throughout, regardless of the size that you put it to. So in this video, I'm going to show you the difference between a raster file and a vector file, and why JPEGs and PNGs break apart, and which logo files every business needs to own. So let's get into it. So a logo is shapes, it's not just pixels, and vector files scales forever, whilst a JPEG shatters the moment you try to enlarge it. These two examples on the right, the one on the left is slightly pixelated and it's not that high quality. That's because it's a pixel, and the one on the right is a vector. It's crisp, it's sharp, it's the best quality it could be because this is using maths. So let's get into why that happens. Principle number one is a vector is drawn with maths. It's sharp at any size. So you can scale it as large as you want, and this is for like things like business cards to a building. There's no maximum size that it can go to. It will stay sharp throughout. This is because it's using maths and not just pixels. So that's why every logo should be built in a vector format and not just converted to a JPEG. And a JPEG and a PNG file is good to have, but this won't help you in the long run, especially if you're trying to use it for specific purposes and needs. The rule here is to build a logo in a vector first, and then pixels are just for the versions that you need later on. Principle number two is a raster file falls apart very quickly. And things like a JPEG or a PNG, a JPEG usually has a background and a PNG is just transparent, and you could just have the logo icon. I would suggest to have these versions as well for your files and formats, but just having this alone is not enough. And the reason for this is because as soon as you enlarge it, it loses quality and it just starts getting pixelated and blurry. And you don't want this, especially if you want to go and use the logo for bigger scales onto a car or van wrap, or even have it for a building, and it just loses quality really quickly, especially if the format that you saved it as is not supposed to be scaled to that size as a PNG. So keep this in mind. So what you need to do is ask for the right files, and the files you need to ask for are the editable files. And this is the Illustrator file, for example, that is going to be the editable file and a vector file. This is because if you have the vector file, you can scale it to any size that you want of your choosing and use it for multiple purposes. So whenever you need to have the logo ready for a specific purpose, let's say tomorrow you need to have it on top of your building, or like have it for a poster or a specific color or requirement, you have the edit tab, go and save it for that purpose, specifically for that purpose, without compromising on the quality and the pixel. So always ask for the editables and the vector format so that you can scale it and use it as you wish later on. Having that original file gives you all the flexibility that you need, rather than using a PNG or a JPEG, because this will just get pixelated and out of shape. Especially the more you use the same file over and over again and stretching it, it can easily go blurry because it wouldn't be saved and used for every purpose. It's just for specific sizes. Once you scale it to a larger size, it will easily get pixelated. This is because JPEGs and PNGs, they work under pixels, and pixels are usually used for images. A logo is not an image. It's actually based on shapes, curves, and so on. So having the original vector file will allow you to scale it as much as you need, and having the original file means that you have all the flexibility to go and scale it to any size that you want. So make sure that you have this at hand whenever you need it. And if you would like to work with me to build a brand that has all the files and all the variations that you need, click the first link in the description below to book a 30-minute free consultation call with myself, and I'll try and help you in any way I can. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.